work on this freaking dinosaur today. It is pissing fuel everywhere. It's leaking at the seam where like the injector lines hook up to the body of the pump, right at that little crack right there. And then the typical spot behind here where they always leak at the back at the bottom. It's got a slow drip. So what I have is a Giles super pump kicking around over here that we're gonna throw on. This thing was built to support 32 psi, so it's actually the Giles injection super pump. So we're gonna put this thing on there and see if we can fix a few issues today. Check it out. So first things first, you want to put the engine to top dead center. So there's a little slot on here. You're gonna make it so the slot is level with the top of the head, and that the cylinder one, the valves or the lobes are facing upwards, and then that should line up the hole down here in that one with the little indent or the crease, depending on which flywheel you have. And then you're gonna want to pin the injection pump, depending on what style you have. It'll be like a 11mm socket or just like a little pin that goes in there. And then you're gonna want to take off your intercooler piping, timing belt cover, injector lines, and then you can take off the gear and the mounting bolts for the pump. And then there's a little 13mm at the back down here. It's kind of a hard thing to get at, but it's not impossible. And then the pump should come out. And so I'm gonna do that and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got it in top dead center, so I'll show you the marks if I can here. You can see right there's a little slot in the flywheel. So you line that up with a little arrow on the hole there. And then the second indication is this in the camshaft. There's a little slot there, and that should be level with the head. And then these two lobes, because it's top dead center on number one, these two lobes should be facing up. And then this pump has the hole on the outside of the gear, so I just use an 11mm socket. You just kind of hammer it in there, and that way it locks it so you can take off the nut here for the injection pump. This is the other style of gear on this pump. You actually time it with this little spot right here. There's a little pin that goes through into there and locks it. So I'm gonna pull the pump off now, and we're gonna put the new one on. Alright, so the pumps are out now. I actually had to change this bracket because the pump that I'm putting on is a little different, and this bore right here is smaller on the old pump. So this is the new bracket that I put on. So there's the old pump. You can see it's just fucking puking fuel everywhere, just sitting here. So it would have been leaking back here, like around that spot right here. It leaks all the time once these things get a little older. And then the other spot that it was leaking from was right here. A little crack right there somehow. I don't know how, but it's leaking there. So this thing's fucking going in the trash now. These things, I think you can actually get a core for these. Some places it's worth like 120 bucks for a core, but a lot of places don't take them anymore because they're pretty much obsolete. So yeah, we're just gonna throw the new pump on, and I'll show you guys how to prime these old girls, and we'll be rolling some coal in no time. Okay, so we got the new pump on, and with these 1.9 liter AAZ pumps, you have to actually time them. So there's a little bolt that goes in the middle of these four little injector lines here, and basically the pump works in 4 strokes per one rotation of the engine. So you put it right before TDC, and then you take the dial indicator, and for the Giles pumps they want 37 thou stroke. So we got 37 thou now, so we're gonna button this thing back up and see if she cranks over and fires and rolls some coal. Alright, so now we're priming the pump. So the trick for this is you loosen off these guys, And then you get yourself a water bottle or a Tim's cup full of diesel fuel that you siphoned out of the car. And then you crank it over, get somebody to crank it over, and you watch, and fuel should come out of these, start pumping out of these, and then when that happens, you tighten these back down, and then it should fire up. Yep.
Okay, firing.
Look at that, it's running like a top now. Alright, shut her down. Look at that, she runs. It's alive! Look at that brand new pump. Can't get CO2 poisoning, it's carbon monoxide poisoning, bud. Plus, the diesel smoke is very cancerous. Alright, we're gonna button this thing up and take it out for a spin now, guys. Roll some freaking coal. So we got her all done and buttoned up. Fire it up and show you guys what it can do now. This is why I love the Giles injection pump. You can just roll coal for days! Yeah! Hey, do you smoke? No! Send it!